Good morning, everybody. Wisconsin's 7th Congressional District Representative Tom Tiffany is our very special guest today, Thursday, December 12th, 2024. For DrydenWire.com, I'm Ben Dryden, and you're watching DrydenWire Live, presented by Americans for Prosperity Wisconsin. AFP Wisconsin works to reignite the American dream and break down government barriers that hold us back from our full potential. Visit afpwisconsin.com to learn more and join AFP to fight for more freedom for all Wisconsinites. Quick programming note this Tuesday. Pastor Brian Cole will be filling in for Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald for our weekly Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy show. And 1 week from today, December 19th, Washington County Executive Josh Schuman will be joining us for a chat. But today we welcome back for our monthly chat, which we do the second Thursday of each month, Wisconsin's 7th Congressional District Representative Tom Tiffany. Tom, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Hey, before I forget, happy early birthday. That's coming up in a couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah. Another birthday.
When did your birthday stop really mattering? When did you just stop caring about it? Like, whatever.
I think it was after my golden birthday, December 30th, 30 years old. I think after that it was all over. Yeah. As I tell my brothers and sisters, though, the greatest day of my mother's life.
I'm sure they appreciate that. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That'll get a rise out of them.
Yeah. Hey, we have so much to get to. I'm not sure we're going to be able to get through all of it today, but before we even start on that, I don't know if you've heard anything about this. I was talking to someone yesterday. So the Badger State Sheriff's Association meets, I think, quarterly, and I think this one, they're doing it today. I think it's in Stevens Point. And I was talking to someone yesterday, and I believe, from what I've heard, is that they're going to do a Sheriff of the Year. This will be the first one, and I think it's going to be a sheriff in your county. Have you heard anything about that?
I have not.
My understanding, breaking news, is St. Croix County Sheriff Scott Knudsen is going to be given the Sheriff of the Year award. So that's pretty awesome, right? Right here in Northwest Wisconsin. I love it.
Yeah, if that is the case, there is no one that is more deserving amongst the sheriffs in Wisconsin than Scott Knudsen. Scott Knudsen just quietly goes about doing his job every day in St. Croix County. He is a terrific sheriff.
I have not met him. I know that he and Brent Walk and maybe it was even Adam Jarko back at the time went down on the southern border around the same time you were down there. I don't know if they went at the same time, but maybe it was a different trip. I don't know much about him. I know there was that tragedy with one of their deputies being shot and killed. But yeah, if that's true, and I can't wait. I hope to get a story on this. I just thought I'd throw that out there because how cool is that? Sheriff of the Year.
Yeah, we got to check it out too. Sheriff Knudsen does a terrific job, and as all the sheriffs do up and throughout the state, but especially the ones that I know so well up in our district, whether it's Walk, Finch, you name all of them. I hate to name a few of them because they all do a terrific job. You have Fitzgerald on regularly, and they're all great people, and they do a good job.
So I want to start with, first of all, I 100% agree, and we love our cops. We just do. Our sheriffs and our cops in northern Wisconsin, and you're in northeastern Wisconsin where you live. I'm in northwest Wisconsin, but your district is all northern Wisconsin. I mean, when you go around, and now we're getting off topic, and we have so much to get to, but when you go around or you talk to, let's say, your constituents, Republican and Democrats, do they, what is like the pulse of their districts when it comes to the opinions of law enforcement? Because let's face it, in some areas, they're not well received as much as the 7th Congressional in Wisconsin.
Sheriffs are treated with great respect in the entire 7th Congressional District, and rightfully so. People understand the work that they do, the work they do that has been made even harder in the George Floyd era, in the defund the police era. It only made their jobs harder, and but the people that live in the 7th Congressional District, they greatly appreciate the work that they do. And by the way, I think that is turning now as people see the incredible cost to society of not having the thin blue line being able to do their job.
Isn't that interesting? Careful what you wish for. Let's get to something. We saw this story, and I think on your Facebook page, there's been some shares about this as well. This was from Center Square, I believe. The headline was Evers guarantees no National Guard troops for deportations. I'm just going to read a section of this. The Wisconsin governor says he won't send National Guard troops to help deport illegal immigrants under President-elect Donald Trump's proposed plan. Governor Tony Evers told reporters in Madison he doesn't support the president-elect's plan to deport people in the country illegally. Quote, as far as taking people from farms and factories in this state, people that are the backbone of this state, that is not going to work for us, Evers said. And Evers called comments from Trump's to-be border czar about arresting local leaders who don't agree to help in deportations, quote unquote, stupid talk. What are your thoughts?
Stupid talk to deport people that have committed a second offense, drunk driving offense, and left 3 young girls in Rusk County without a father. A stupid talk that somebody in Abbotsford stabbed 2 children to death. Prairie du Chien, where a Venezuelan gang member beat the hell out of a woman down there and her daughter. Governor Evers is completely out of touch. And he obviously did not receive the memo from the voters on November 5th. They want this to change. And so you can see what is happening with the elites in the Democrat Party. People like that are governors like Evers and Pritzker and others, Pritzker in Illinois, when they say they're going to defy federal law. I mean, are they the type of people? Are we going to see the same thing that we saw from Democrats in 1957 when the Governor Faubus of Arkansas stood in the schoolhouse door and said, we're not going to desegregate our schools. We're going to stop African American kids from being able to go to the best schools. Is that the type of action that we're going to see from Governor Evers? Or is he going to go full Jefferson Davis like back in the 1860s? I expect not, but I certainly hope not, because this is not stupid talk. There are 1.5 million people here in our country who have deportation orders. They should be removed. They have deportation orders. ICE should be able to do their job. There should not be sanctuaries like where Governor Evers lives in Madison. And there's 13,000 murderers. There's 15,000 rapists. So who does Governor Evers not want to remove from the state of Wisconsin? Because the people in the state of Wisconsin want them removed, and they should be removed.
Why do you think he used? First of all, it was really interesting to see. So I think he was on Upfront, and I think he did another interview. I don't typically see him doing a lot of interviews. I'm not saying it's good, bad. I'm just saying I don't usually see that. So he took this. He used some strong words. Why do you think he is so adamant about this on this specific topic? Why do you think?
I think it's part of the elite Democrats' talking points, and clearly that's who he's getting it from, because there's a lot of Democrats out there, rank and file people, good, honest people. They understand that if you've got people with deportation orders, they should be removed from the country if they're here illegally. I mean, these people have jumped the line in front of people who are trying to get here legally. We get immigration requests in my office all the time. We help people on a regular basis in being able to get people into this country in a legal fashion. We believe in legal immigration. We've had mass illegal immigration into our country. There's a mass importation program that the Biden administration did for the last 4 years. There's no reason we can't do a mass deportation program. And you start first with those who have deportation orders and those that have criminal records, of which there's about 500,000. You said,
1.5 deportation orders, you had said just a few minutes ago. Is that where does that come from? How long has we've had that number, and why aren't, first of all, is this President-elect Donald Trump somehow having influence over now? Like 6 months ago, it was like 200,000. Now all of a sudden it's 1.5 million. Or has that been a very high number for a long time? And if it has been, why aren't they being deported?
Yeah, there's a lot of different numbers that are out there. So first of all, Biden's Secretary of Homeland Security, Mayorkas, he did everything to stop deportations. There had been it's went down to almost zero, whereas there were deportations for people that were here illegally and should not have been in our country under the Trump administration and even in the Obama administration. I remember Jay Johnson, the head of Homeland Security, said something like, 10,000 people a month or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but he put a number out there. He said, that's an emergency. The Biden administration just blew through that. And so it is, they are not deporting people is part of the problem. I think this is built over the years, going all the way back to Obama, and who knows, maybe even back to Bush. But yeah, there's 1.5 million people who have deportation orders, and it's time for that to happen. We need to have a legal immigration system. I hope when we come back with the new Congress that this is the first thing we do. We pass H.R. 2, send it to a version of it, send it to President Trump, and let's start doing what the American people want us to do. Remember, you look at the polling over the last number of months, over 60% of the American people, which means there's a lot of Democrats that say, yes, there should be deportations.
Also in this article, it states that Evers repeatedly said he thinks of Wisconsin farms when he hears Trump talk about immigration. Quote, all I know is that our ag industry and dairy in particular, and many of our manufacturers count on that labor. And if they decide that they are going to start shipping people back, we're going to do everything we can to prevent that from happening. Obviously, where you live is in a rural area. I'm sure you have neighbors that are farmers. And obviously, for people who are listening to urban, if you live in an urban area and you listen to the show, when we say neighbors, we don't mean, 2 blocks down or 20 feet down. Neighbors can sometimes be 4 miles away because there's only like 3 houses in between. Do you believe that to be true? That this is going to have a significant negative impact on, we'll just pick farms, our farmers. Is it going to have a significant negative impact on the farming industry in Wisconsin if deportations happened?
No, it doesn't have to. But those that are here illegally, especially first of all, you start with those people that have criminal records back in their home countries. I mean, Venezuela emptied their prisons here over the last couple of years, and a lot of them are here in America, and they're the gang members that beat up people in Prairie du Chien. And so you start there and remove those people. And then people should come here legally. And if we have gaps where we need more, the immigration systems should serve the interest of Americans for the benefit of America. And if we have gaps in employment where we need more people, we have a legal system to be able to allow that to happen. Let's make that work. None of us are saying just shut it off completely and let's not have any more immigration. That's not the case. Let's do it legally. There's no reason why, regardless of who the employer is, should not have enough people being able to work for them. I would say one other thing, though. There's nearly 10 million people who are able-bodied Americans who are choosing not to work, that live off the system, get up to $50,000 to $60,000 a year in benefits, whether it's food stamps, health care, all the rest, housing allowances, that are choosing not to work. That's the intermediate step. We need to make sure that able-bodied Americans are working also. They will fill some of the gaps in what Governor Evers is referring to. We're not going to have any people to do the work. Yes, we will. But we need to make sure that we do it in the right way and we do it in a legal way.
Ideally, that was it. And that leads right into the next. You had a press release yesterday. The headline was Tiffany demands transparency, public input on Marathon County refugee settlement plans. It's slightly different topic, but on same topic. I didn't get a chance to post that yet. I just saw it this morning. For people who didn't see that, what is that about?
So you have different ways that people can come into the country. So refugees is separate from the illegal immigration. And we've always had a refugee system. But this is part of the piece of the Biden administration jamming as many people into this country as they possibly can from foreign lands. This is part of the transformation of America that the American people recognized in the election on November 5th, and we don't like. And they said, we don't like how America is being transformed. And part of that is also refugees. So this came up down in Eau Claire in the last year also. What I have a great concern with is that there is many local officials are, and especially the refugee resettlement people, are not going to local communities and saying, hey, do you want to do this? Because there's real costs in terms of education. If they don't speak the language, schools have to provide interpreters and others to be able to help them learn the language. There's healthcare costs. There's oftentimes housing costs, and that is borne by the local community. So even if they're coming in the right way, I think the local community should have a say. And I've introduced a bill to that effect. Representative Hurd has introduced a bill to that effect at the state level. I believe that local communities should have a say on that. The second thing that concerns me is the vetting process that the Biden administration has used. We saw it with Afghanistan, where they did not put them through the SIV process. Here's the Terror Special Immigrant Visa process, which is a very detailed process to make sure someone does not have a terror background. Afghanistan, the heart of terror in the world. And we're sending, the Biden administration is sending them in here without going through the SIV process. To me, that's negligence. And who knows how many terrorists are in this country, because we know that the Border Patrol has told us over the last couple of years, there are perhaps hundreds of people in here that have come from the terror watch list.
Why? I don't understand that. Is this, if we're not going through the SIV process, why?
Because the Biden administration has chosen not to.
Yeah, but why? I don't understand. I guess we should have to have. We'll see if we can get President Biden on, and to ask him. But seriously, like, nobody else is. I don't understand. Then why not? Why aren't we doing that?
It's a transformation of America. I mean, this is what they've been determined to do. I think people are generally understanding that the Biden presidential term, it was basically Barack Obama's third term. Sure. Barack Obama is the only president who did not leave Washington, D.C. after his 2 terms, after he fulfilled his commitment in office. George Washington said when he left office, I am not here to be a king. I'm leaving after 2 terms. And that has always been the case up until Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who served into his, I believe, 4th term before he passed away. The American people said after his presidency, we're putting in term limits for the president, so you only get to serve 2 terms. All these presidents, Republican or Democrat, when they were done, they went back home and lived their lives. They did their terms, and they did not try to influence Washington, D.C. more. Barack Obama is the first exception to that. He was frustrated that he did not accomplish the transformation of America as he believed it should happen in his eyes, and he and his fellow followers and leaders in his administration, like Eric Holder, like his former chief of staff, what was her name, Valerie Jarrett, they stayed here in D.C. because they did not accomplish what they wanted to. And so many of their people populated the Biden administration. And this is one of the things they wanted to do, was bring in as many people from foreign lands as possible. They do not believe that there should have to be assimilation. I believe in legal immigration. I believe people should be able to come into this country, but they need to do it legally and they need to assimilate. And that is, you see some pockets of America that are becoming more like Haiti or Somalia than they are America. And Americans of all stripes believe that people should assimilate.
Do you think Republicans have a messaging problem when it comes to that topic? Or are Democrats doing a really good job with their messaging? And by this I mean that I believe a lot of people look at Republicans and think, when it comes to the topic of immigration, that you just want everybody out, right? Get rid of everyone.
Sure.
And you just got finished saying, no, I'm for it. Just we have to do it legally. Is there a messaging problem for Republicans on that topic?
We say it all the time. And I think one of the key problems is you have a media that has served as national media, you excluded, and many local outlets here in Wisconsin excluded, because I think they do a good job. But you have a New York Times, the Washington Post, NBC, ABC, all the rest. They don't play our clips where we say, we do believe in legal immigration.
Sure.
But that's why you want to end illegal immigration. Let's make sure we do it the right way. They never include that quote. So half the country that does not get their media from other sources like yourself, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, those are those mean Republicans that they don't believe in any immigration at all. Not true.
All right, we're already. Oh my goodness, we have like 5 topics, and So I do want to for sure get to this, because you had another. This is just recent, but you had a statement on the House passage of National Defense Authorization Act today. So this was yesterday. Tom Tiffany released the following statement after voting for the FY 2025 National Defense Authorization Act. It says, under Biden administration, our military is focused on DEI initiatives at the expense of lethality and the well-being of service members, said Congressman Tiffany. Today's NDAA prioritizes military readiness, ensures our forces are equipped to protect America at home and abroad. But interestingly, and I want to talk about these, in this statement, the following provisions were included in H.R. 5009, and you have 6 of them here. So I'm sure there was a lot of them, but 6 you chose to emphasize. So I wanted to kind of have you elaborate and explain why these things were so important to make sure that you included but these specific 6. First one, gives junior enlisted service members a 14.5% pay raise.
I think it's important that we be able to pay our troops so that they're not in the poorhouse when they're out there serving their country. So a significant pay increase, because inflation has eaten up their paychecks like all other Americans. Time for a healthy raise for those junior enlistees.
Yeah, and the next goes right into that same topic, essentially. Gives all other service members a 4.5% raise. So what's the difference between a junior enlisted service member and then all other service members?
So I think those are what you would refer to as your regular enlistees. I'm not a military guy, but it's your regular enlistees that, the person that comes out of high school and they say, I'm going to go serve my country. And, they give 3 years, 5 years, however long they do. Those would be your junior enlistees. And of course, they're at the bottom of the barrel, and we wanted to make sure they get a significant increase.
Got it. The third one here was bans dangerous sex change surgeries for minors under TRICARE. So I don't know what TRICARE is. That's one thing. But surgeries for minors, are there a lot of minors in this? So why did you feel that it was important enough to have this in?
So let's say you have a family that's in the military and they have an underage child that wants to have a sex change surgery. They cannot use the veteran healthcare system to get that sex change.
Got it. That makes sense. Again, going to the question, though, of why is this, if you put this into the provisions, like these bullet points, these 6 that you wanted to make sure that you emphasize, why that one? Why is that one an important one for you?
Because we're seeing this kind of woke DEI stuff in the military through the Biden years. And actually, it's been creeping into the military for quite a long time. And this type of, doing what they call gender reassignment surgeries, the taxpayers shouldn't have to pay for that.
Okay, so that's what that part of this is. It isn't a necessarily you're for or against that surgery, the whatever you just referred to it as. It's just simply that taxpayer dollars shouldn't be paying for it.
Number one, taxpayers shouldn't be paying for it. But second of all, I don't believe in them either for minors. When, if a child has gender dysphoria, and you're going to cut off their body parts, that's nuts. And so that's another subject for another day.
Okay.
This was focused on taxpayers should not have to pay for it.
Sure. The next is supports the deployment of the National Guard at the southern border.
Speaks for itself.
Well, it says supports the deployment. What does that mean? Supports the deployment.
This is in anticipation of what President Trump is going to do to get our border secured.
Sure.
Part of this is, I believe, setting the table. There's much more that we should have done in this bill, but we're going to take what we got here. This is one of the things that's going to be helpful for President Trump when he comes into office January 20th.
Understood. Next, the penultimate bullet point is does not authorize any new military funding to Ukraine.
Yeah, we've sent enough money to Ukraine.
We've sent quite a bit.
It's when God bless the Ukrainians. I feel really bad for them. But when you got people in North Carolina that are living in tents and it's 10 degrees above zero and we can't even take care of our own citizens, I think our priorities are mixed up when we don't help out our own citizens.
Yeah. And the last one rolls back divisive and unfair race-based preferences and policies in the military. That one, to me, doesn't really speak for itself. Can you give some examples? What does that mean? Rolls back divisive and unfair race-based preferences and policies in the military.
Because when you look at the Biden administration, and it's not just the military, they did it with farmers also. They gave more money based on your race. I mean, they're doing the same thing here. The military should be merit based because when you get out on the battlefield, the other side doesn't care what your pronouns are. They don't care what your race is. They don't care about any of that. They're just there to win.
Wait a minute.
And we in America, once again, we need to be in it to win it.
Right.
and not use our military as this social this social education stuff that some have attempted to turn our military into. Social engineering would be the better phrase to use. It shouldn't be a social engineering experiment with our military. They need to be lethal. They need to be ready to fight and win a war. That's what they're there for. And this stuff that you just rattled off is attempting to turn back some of those things that others have tried, like in the Biden administration, have tried to turn our military into.
Well, I'd like to expand on that more, but we're almost against our time, and I want a couple more things here. FBI Director Christopher Wray to resign before Trump's inauguration. Smart move, good, supportive of that? You like that? Or you wish he would have stayed in longer?
Yeah, I think it's the honorable thing for FBI Director Wray to do. I mean, in some ways, I've appreciated his testimony before the Judiciary Committee, which I sit on, but he clearly did not. He was either complicit in some of the things that went on. Hunter Biden's last laptop was suppressed for a year by the FBI, the information that was in it. They knew in 2019 what was in it. Either Christopher Wray knew what was going on and helped suppress it, or else others suppressed it and didn't tell him about it. Either way, it's a failure of leadership. So he's doing the honorable thing. President Trump should be able to have his own FBI director to be able to turn the page on what has been a really disastrous last few years for the FBI, where they've lost tremendous respect by the American people. It needs to go back to what it has been in the past and should be a crime-fighting organization for the people of the United States of America that goes after the bad guys rather than going after the good guys, which in some cases they have done.
I can't remember the person's name. Who did President-elect Trump pick for his FBI director? What do you know about him? Do you like a good pick?
Yeah, Kash Patel. I think he's a good pick. So he started out as a public defender, I believe, in Florida. So he has significant experience arguing cases and made his way up he made his way up through the ranks. He did it, I believe, in a good way where he has broad experience. And he exposed the Russia collusion hoax when he served as Representative Devin Nunes' staffer. He exposed that they were lying about President Trump in regards to Russia collusion. The whole thing that came up in President Trump's first term and really derailed his presidency to a large extent. Kash Patel is the one that revealed that as a hoax, that it was a lie. And so he's done really good work. I think he's going to be a good FBI director.
Well, the last one I want to talk about, but I think we'll have to punt this until.
No, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. I wanted to get your thoughts on what do you expect the first 100 days ish, and I don't know. I know it's a common thing for people to ask. First 100 days, what are you going to do? But what do you expect to happen, President Trump? What kind of things are you looking forward to? Let's make sure these things are done in the first 100 days.
Yeah, so the president is not sworn in until January 20th, but he's already having an impact across the world. I mean, when he sends the message to Hamas, you better let those hostages go, including, I think there's a few Americans in the hostages over in the Middle East. You better get it done by January 20th before I come in, or there's going to be hell to pay. And they're paying attention to that. I mean, look at the response to him by world leaders at the Notre Dame Cathedral, the rededication of it over in Paris this past weekend. I mean, it's clear he's already having an impact, though he is not officially the president. Now, having said that, we're sworn in January 3rd in the House and the Senate. I hope we go to work immediately and get bills on his desk. I believe one of our goals should be to have the border bill, which was HR2 this past session. I think it should be HR1 this session, this coming session. We should have that done and on his desk January 20th for him to be able to sign it. Now, will we be able to do it? I don't know if that'll be the case, but I hope that is the first thing we do. And then we begin to work on all the other stuff that needs to be done. Let's give a regional issue, wolf delisting. I hope that we're able to pass that out of natural resources immediately and get that to the Senate and to the president's desk. We need to do that right away. There's a whole lot of stuff that needs to get done. And I would just say one other thing, Ben, in regards to that. On January 20th, I think you're going to see a lot of executive orders that are going to try to achieve the goal of getting us back to energy independence, to have a secure border. All those things that were the big things that President Trump campaigned on, I think you're going to see a lot of executive orders on January 20th.
Well, again, you come on the second Thursday of every month, so we'll be able to get into that a little bit more. But real quick on that topic, since it's not till January 20th, do you have any concerns? What's going to happen from now until January 20th? Do you have concerns about President Biden starting to... Do you have any concerns from now until January 20th about where the country is going to go and what President Biden may do?
Yeah, he's in deep decline. And you look at, now this is an accumulation of failures, but look at what happened in South Korea where they almost had a coup. Where's the CIA? Where are our intelligence
Where did that
agencies?
come from? I couldn't believe when I saw that story.
Why don't we know about that?
Yeah.
Look at Syria. All of a sudden it falls apart. And I'm getting information, I don't know if it's accurate, but that the CIA and the State Department were on opposite sides over in Syria. I mean, it is just this feckless foreign policy. And then, of course, Blinken is saying we're going to pump every single dollar we can into Ukraine before we leave, further destabilizing that region in the world. I just hope that World War III doesn't break out before President Trump or before President Biden leaves office. And then you look at, he did a whole mass bunch of clemencies. Of course, he let his son off, which hundreds, if not thousands of Americans who are in prison currently are going, hey, how about me?
Right.
I committed a gun crime. Why doesn't your son have to serve time for that gun crime as well as the other stuff that he did?
Yeah, the media was pretty soft on him on that, by the way. I was pretty soft on him on that. When he said, I'm not going to, I never will, absolutely not, I'm not going to do this for my son. And then, okay, did. And they're like, well, come on. That's just what a father would do for some... What I'm just saying, they're really soft on him on that. And I don't know if they should go super hard on him for it, but still, what?
January 20th can't come soon enough. And when you look at, one of the things that I hope with the new administration is that they reveal more of the information behind the scene. This is called the swamp out here for a reason.
Yeah.
It's wide and deep, and people are self-serving, and they hide information from the American public for some of the things they do. They work best in the shadows. I hope Kash Patel at the FBI, Pam Bondi at the Department of Justice. I hope Pete Hegseth, when he's confirmed to head the Department of Defense, I hope they expose all this stuff that has been going on for years, because the American people deserve a full accounting of what has happened out here with some of the self-dealing that goes on in Washington, D.C.
I agree. Tom, thanks so much. We'll have a lot to talk about next month. Merry Christmas. Happy early birthday.
Hey, and is it Annalise's birthday today?
No. Oh,
Did she just celebrate her 21st birthday?
Yeah. Well, she's 21, but she's actually the big news today. She's going to be graduating from CVTC tonight. So
she's graduating from Chippewa Valley Technical College.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, and the ceremony is going to be held over in Menominee. So at UW
awesome.
Stout. Yeah. So congratulations to her. That's awesome. And I think she's going to take this 2 degree, then maybe go to university. But she kind of did her first 2 years, which is becoming kind of a popular thing to do. First 2 years do in your tech college, then go to a full college.
It's a great idea. Congratulations to Annalise and to the Dryden family.
Yeah, we're heading over there. Drush and I are heading over there this afternoon and getting a hotel room tonight, hot tub. jacuzzi, fireplace. It's going to be a night of debauchery, Tom. It's going to be fantastic. Awesome.
No comment. No comment.
Okay. Special thank you to Wisconsin's 7th Congressional District Representative Tom Tiffany for taking the time to come on for a chat with us today. I'll see you all of you on Tuesday when Pastor Brian Cole will be filling in for Sheriff Fitzgerald for a weekly Positive Tuesday show. And 1 week from today, I'll be chatting with Washington County Executive Josh Schuman. So until then, for DrydenWire.com, I'm Ben Dryden saying thank you for watching, and as always, have a blessed day.